are listening live to the Vito and Vito Show.
Disrespectful to the executive branch.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
Don't sign the damn deal, and the president won't.
Therefore, I do not believe that the majority can vote a man's life or property or freedom away from him.
And we're live here on the Vito and Vito Show. I'm Vito.
And I'm Vito.
And we want to welcome everybody here to the Vito and Vito Show. Check out the website, www.vitoandvito.com. And give us a follow on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Vito and Vito Show. Allow my co-host, ladies and gentlemen, to explain what you're listening to, because you just so happen to stumble across some of the greatness that we're about to provide for you here today. Vito, what do we got?
We are bringing you the perspectives of two college-age millennial conservative libertarians out of liberal hellhole Brooklyn, New York. We were committed to defending the principles of free markets, freedom, and individualism. We hold no punches here on the show.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. We're lovers of liberty.
And this is no political correctness kind of shindig we got here.
Shindig. That's the best you could say?
My vocabulary.
Absolutely not. This is one of the best shows you're probably going to ever find. And that's self-identified, so. Nobody big told us that. We just happened to come across
That's
and say
not true.
Well, who possibly have said something like that?
Michelle Bachmann likes us.
Michelle Bachmann's cool.
Yeah.
I dig her.
Donald Trump.
I don't think Donald Trump ever said we were pretty good. But
Michelle Bachmann did.
She did. Yeah. She did, that's true. And that's about it. And others.
Matter of fact, somewhere.
Thanks to President Barack Obama, my father re-identified as a woman. And now I have two dads. Unbelievable. All right, welcome everybody to the Vito and Vito Show. Let's break this down. We had a little GOP debate. People trying to blast my man, Texas Senator Ted Cruz, as a rhino. You believe this, Vito? Ted Cruz. They want to blast him as a liar.
What?
And it's only coming from the establishment's new pick, their new poster child, their new boy toy.
The new puppet.
Their new rent boy, or...
Right.
Think of all the things you could think of. Marco the Fool Rubio. Marco the
Rhino.
The Rhino. We can think of something better than that.
Marco Polo. You know what? He comes over such a nice guy.
He's an ass.
Okay.
Marco Rubio is a rhino. I hate you, and I honestly think, Marco Rubio, that you're a piece of... That's right. You heard it right here on the Vito and Vito Show. Hold no punches here on the show. If you support Marco Rubio for president, and you call yourself a conservative, if you call yourself a libertarian, if you call yourself a Tea Party American, you got problems if you support Marco Rubio. I'm telling you right now. The man is nothing but a liar. He's a cheat. He's the establishment's new pick. He's trying to paint Ted Cruz as something he's not. We're going to break down some of this ridiculous arguments he made at the debate this past week. And boy, we have a lot. We have a lot here, ladies and gentlemen. Just look at all this paper I got in front of me. We have a lot of stuff to break down. Plus, later on in the program, Vito, we also have Dale Bellis, Executive Director of Liberty Health Share, giving us a call into the program to talk to us. Just what is Liberty Health Share? Wait till you hear this healthcare plan, this healthcare company. It's a totally different thing that you've seen in your mainstream media. It's completely different from what you've seen on your mainstream health insurance type deal. This is something completely different.
It's the alternative to Obamacare.
Oh, you're going to love this. You're going to love this. You're going to love this. And you got to hear what Dale has to say. Dale Bellis calling in later from Liberty Health Share. I want you guys to listen to this guy. He's absolutely amazing, and he's doing some great work. But I want to first start off about this debate right now, Vito. Let's break this down. And Marco the Foolio. No? Not good?
No? Right, work on that. But
all right.
You did see the debate Tuesday night, 2 days ago. What did you think? The overall view
of the debate?
Yeah. Because first off, I mean, I don't think the moderators were that bad.
Hugh Hewitt, I do not like.
Me neither. He makes me laugh when I look at him.
I'm not a fan.
No? But I mean, at least they weren't like MSNBC or something like that. You know, they weren't a disaster. But that being said, I guess we talk about the candidates. I always want to get the moderators out of the way because people always have a problem with the moderators, like Donald Trump, who always complain about how they're always attacking him, or Ben Carson, who doesn't get enough talking time. So there's always a problem with the moderators.
Well, I think there's a legitimate point there.
I think to a degree, but also remember there's 9 different people standing on that stage at once. So it's very hard to get everyone to talk. And at one point, the moderators probably think the same. Like, do we really have to ask John Kasich questions? I'd much rather talk to, like, Trump and Cruz and Marco or something.
Well, the only reason, and the candidates have a right to complain about the moderators because they've been so terrible. CNBC, Fox News with Megyn Kelly. You know, we've had some pretty bad moderators in the past, so I don't blame people for saying things like this. I got no problem with that. But frankly, I think they did a pretty good job. I don't really have anything bad to say except for Hugh Hewitt, who asked Ben Carson, "You're a neurosurgeon, aren't you, Ben Carson? Wouldn't you have a problem after saving millions of kids' lives if you would kill other people in other countries and their children?" Like, that's a big question that I have a problem with. I think that's a little ridiculous. Hugh Hewitt should know better. I don't even know why he's on that stage. I'm not a big fan of his radio show. Should be listening to us. But anyway, that's whatever. The point being, Vito, we got some stuff here we got to talk about. And it's very, very important that we do. I want to first talk about, and this is the elephant in the room. Do you realize that after the debate, there was one man who had to go on the offensive. He had to go on the offensive, and he was being attacked every minute of the day right after the debate. Do you know who that was?
Who would that be, Vito?
Who that be?
Who would that be?
Who that be? Who that be?
Who would that be?
Who that be? I'll tell you who that be, Vito. It'd be Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz getting lambasted left and right by the mainstream media, getting lambasted by other Republicans, getting lambasted by Democrats, getting lambasted by people who miscategorize his message. People who are miscategorizing what he stands for. So I got a problem with people going after Ted Cruz, in particular Brett Baer, who kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And trying to find out just what exactly does Ted Cruz stand for. Vito, I want to break this down right here. This is an article from the Conservative Review. Okay, this article is written by a former Ted Cruz staffer, Amanda Carpenter. No, not the lady from the Carpenters, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah, don't even ask how I know that, but the point is, here we go. Marco Rubio supported... Now, before we start, I just want to say, there were 2 criticisms leveled against Cruz. Foreign policy, that he's an isolationist by this fool Marco Rubio, and that he supported a pathway to citizenship for illegal immigrants. Now, I want you to listen to the brilliance of Ted Cruz. From a staffer on his staff. I want you to listen just how smart, savvy, political, interesting, knowledgeable Ted Cruz is about this issue and how he sees this is what I love. The establishment is going to fight Ted Cruz tooth and nail, say he never got anything done. He never did anything in the Senate. He never led anything. Listen to what Ted Cruz, his plan was in trying to defeat the Marco Rubio sponsored and co-authored Gang of 8 bill on immigration reform in this country, which would have gave millions upon millions a pathway to citizenship that are here illegally, and would have inadequately closed the southern border. Would have left it wide open like it is today.
Mm-hmm.
So let's break this down. Marco Rubio supported a path to citizenship for illegal immigrants. This is known. We all know this.
Even though he keeps flip-flopping and trying to change the facts.
Now, Rubio is seeking to undermine Cruz's credibility on immigration by saying Cruz supports a pathway to legalization for illegal immigrants. So now, who do you believe? Do you believe Marco Rubio, the rhino, the liar, the establishment's pick for president, because they couldn't get Jeb Bush, so they moved over to Rubio. If Rubio falls, they're going to move over to Christie. If Christie falls, they'll probably go back to Jeb. If Jeb falls, they'll jump around and go over to Kasich. They'll move back and forth to get anybody but a conservative. They want anyone but conservatives.
I'm sure they even tried after Scott Walker, but he dropped out too soon.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I see, Marco, he knows his immigration stance is crap. So he knows he can't say, oh, I'm more conservative, I'm better on immigration than Ted Cruz, because Ted Cruz is very strong on immigration, just as is Donald Trump. We know this. So instead of Rubio trying to jump up to Ted's level, he's trying to drag him down to the mud with him. Because he can't say he's as good as Cruz, so now compare us. He's going to bring down Cruz and say, look, compare us and pick us. You know? So Rubio keeps trying to do this, and it's difficult, so what does he turn to? He starts to lie. You know, all politicians lie. We know this. But blatantly lying and trying to change the facts like that is much more difficult on the national stage at a debate against Ted Cruz. And Ted Cruz even called it out and said, no, you're wrong. And he backed it up. He published stuff on his website. He's been pushing this out to show, and we know this. This is pretty easy facts, that Ted Cruz is strong in immigration. It was not part of the Gang of Eight, as much as Marco Rubio wanted him to be. Marco Rubio was one of the Republicans that supported the Gang of Eight bill. That was his shining moment. That was his big piece. Yeah, that was his big piece of legislation.
Right.
And Ted Cruz was completely against that, especially with parts like giving welfare to legal immigrants.
Right.
That Rubio and others shot down that amendment to not put that in the bill.
Well, let's talk about those amendments.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to do. I want to talk about these different amendments. I want to talk about what makes Ted Cruz a great conservative. So let's break this down this way. In his speech asking other senators to support the amendment that Ted Cruz put forward, that would strip out the citizenship plank, leaving the legalization plank in place. In other words, in the course of killing the bill, Cruz proposed a series of amendments in committee designed to make clear the legislation did not contain a path to citizenship. Did contain a path to citizenship. So Cruz made sure, while in committee, listen to the brilliance of Ted Cruz, that the legislation that was going to be passed and put into the bill contained a path to citizenship. So now one of the amendments proposed by Cruz was to strip out the citizenship plank and would leave the legalization plank in place. So in an attempt here, what Cruz is saying, and I want you to listen to his words, it was done precisely to the proponents of citizenship would vote against it, showing they were in fact insisting on citizenship in their legalization. Now, Rubio is telling folks that because Cruz's amendments only attack citizenship, but not legalization, Cruz supports legalization, but that's a stretch. You see, the difference is you can legalize people being here illegally. Doesn't mean they get citizenship. It means they get the green card, right? They get that residence card? Mm-hmm. Okay. And then, so Cruz is saying, look, I'll leave in the legalization part so they can have residency, right? No big deal. But I'm going to take out the citizenship part. Now, here's of Cruz's proposed amendments. Here's the best part. People voted against that amendment. It did not work.
Democrats and Republicans.
Yes. Now, why? Cruz is saying, I'll give you the residency part, but I won't, I'm going to take out the citizenship. It is all about securing the border, as Marco Rubio says, isn't it?
Well, this is what everyone in the Gang A tried pushing. Look, it's securing the border, the border. But you have to look at what is rest of the bill.
Mm-hmm. So this was all a part of his strategy. It gets better. Here's Ted Cruz's words. I would urge everyone on this committee to roll up our sleeves and fix the problem in a humane way that secures the border, gets serious about fixing the problem, and expands and improves legal immigration and does not unfairly treat legal immigrants by removing a path to citizenship, but allowing, as this legalization does, a legal status for those who are here illegally. Removing a path to citizenship. He says it himself. Improves legal immigration and does not unfairly treat legal immigrants by removing a path to citizenship. Now you may think, oh, right there, he supports, obviously. Come on, Vito, can't be stupid. He supports legalization. No, it means the amendment strategy was focused only on the most controversial part of the bill, the citizenship plank.
And he knew these amendments, this would not pass through.
Mm-hmm.
He knew the Democrats and these rhinos would not vote for this.
Yep.
Because he knew what they were doing.
So there you go. Rubio was trying to paint Cruz as someone who was trying to push forth the path to citizenship. He wasn't. And Marco Rubio should be ashamed of himself. He was on the front lines opposite Ted Cruz, knowing what he was going through. He knows that he never supports or would support a pathway to citizenship for illegals. Ted Cruz would. No way. But the legislative tactics and strategies that Ted Cruz has used is unbelievable. There's your master politician. And it exposes the people who would sit here and say, no, we can't take these amendments. No, I don't want the bill unless it has a pathway to citizenship. The bill died. Rubio was upset, and Cruz wound up taking home Which should have been a victory. But you have people out there who keep propagating this lie, which I find to be egregious, honestly. From the Rubio camp, who claims to be conservative, who won in the Tea Party wave, who ran on a Tea Party platform, is going to lie to get his point across. And that's embarrassing if you're Marco Rubio. Absolutely embarrassing. He should be ashamed of himself, Vito. Because it's people like this that piss me off upon the highest degree when you gotta lie to get your point across. You can't be forefront and honest. If there's one thing Donald Trump has been doing in this presidential campaign, if there is one thing that makes Donald Trump so resoundingly powerful in the conservative movement, in whatever movement you want to call him a part of. And I particularly am not a fan of Donald Trump because I'd rather have Ted Cruz. That being said, I have a lot of respect for Donald Trump because he's an honest man and he's not lying. He says it like it is and nobody gives a damn. That's the difference, Vito. And I'm telling you right now, when you take a look at people like Ted Cruz, he's an honest man fighting hard for what he believes in. But it's people like Marco Rubio who are going to undermine his position because Marco Rubio wants to show the establishment just how cunning and how savvy and how Karl Rove-like he is. And it's disgusting if you think about it. Absolutely disgusting. I mean, when I look at Ted Cruz, Vito, I find the guy to be a patriot. Nothing he did was wrong. He does not support a pathway to citizenship.
And immigration is a major issue for this coming election.
But the man is from Texas. Right, it's a major issue. Mm-hmm. He's a Texas senator. Texas is on the border with Mexico. The man cannot support legalization of illegal immigrants. It's going to backfire on him. Mm-hmm. So why would he lie? Why would Texas Senator Ted Cruz lie? He never did. He never has. I don't think he ever will. I got to give my faith in the man. He's doing a great job.
And since immigration is such a big thing, you see, obviously Donald Trump is doing so great. We see this. This is his whole thing. Mm-hmm. Anti-political correctness, but immigration, closing the border, putting a giant wall with his name on it. Right? This way people love him. This is why Donald Trump is doing so great in the polls because of his stance on immigration. His stance on immigration is also very similar to Ted Cruz's. Notice that's 1 and 2 in the polls. Then you have the establishment pick, Marco Rubio, who's now a third. Okay? So now, how do you move up the polls? Marco knows you can't go after Donald Trump right now.
How do you move up the polls?
Thank you.
Yep.
Great. As I was saying, Marco Rubio knows he can't go after Donald Trump right now. He's much too high, much too powerful. One step at a time. So you go after Ted Cruz right above him. So you got Marco going after Ted Cruz from the bottom, and Donald Trump over first going after Ted Cruz now. So Marco can't say I'm better than him on immigration on these issues, so that's why I should be higher. He's dragging him down. He's trying to drag him down. Smear. Smear campaign.
Well, that's the problem. That is your Karl Rove type campaign. We're going to smear the opposition. We're not going to run based on honesty and integrity. We're going to smear him. We're going to make him look like a liar. We're going to, quote, expose him. But excuse me, Vito, I don't understand what you could possibly expose Ted Cruz for. The man is a patriot. He's a great guy. I love what he's done. You look at the history of what Ted Cruz has done in the Senate, whether it be shutting Obama down when it comes down to Obamacare, and notice how I didn't say the government, because no one man can shut down the government. So I want to correct that. How it's been shutting down Obama on executive amnesty, how it's been shooting down, the Export-Import Bank. Ted Cruz has been a powerful fighter, and if you think that the man supports illegal immigration, and you support Marco Rubio for president, or your opinion changed after that debate because you think Marco Rubio is espousing the truth, I got news for you. You got to get your head examined. There's no way in hell, if you do your research, you see the difference. And you know who else is on Ted Cruz's side, Vito? It's Mark Levin. It's Rush Limbaugh. The conservatives in the party are on, whether it be Jeff Sessions,
Mike
Lee,
the NRA,
NRA,
many things.
Steve King from Iowa. These people are on Ted Cruz's side. And to blast Ted Cruz as a liar and to take Marco Rubio's word on these things, look, at first it seems very convincing. Marco Rubio has a great case. Then you look at the reasoning behind it, and you see that Marco Rubio is nothing but a fraud. I can't stand him. He should be primaried. He should be knocked out. I do not like Marco Rubio. I think he's a liar in chief, and anybody that supports him is just as dirty as supporting somebody like Jeb Bush. I'm telling you now, he's the establishment boy toy, and when he goes out the window, if he goes out the window, we got a problem. We got a problem because they're going to move over to Christie. They're going to move over to Kasich. They're going to bounce around like a hot potato. Listen, we're going to break. When we return here to the Vito and Vito show. I'm way too excited. When we return here to Vito and Vito show, it's going to be great. We're going to talk about Ted Cruz's stance on foreign policy, why he's completely different from the isolationist to the interventionist. He's a new conservative. He's your conservative. You're going to love this guy. When we return here. Hey Vito.
Hey Vito.
There's a movement in healthcare today.
It's a movement of people that's ready to stand up and take charge of their healthcare.
It's people like you and me who are tired of paying too much for healthcare and getting too little.
People who are standing up for their values and letting their conscience make decisions based on timeless principles.
It's a movement that's sweeping the nation, and you need to be a part of it.
Liberty HealthShare is leading the movement of people who are looking for an alternative to traditional health insurance.
Liberty HealthShare is a healthcare sharing organization of people who are sharing the cost of healthcare in an easy and efficient way.
Choose your own doctor, your own hospital, and live out your values in healthcare.
Join the movement. Together, we're changing healthcare for good.
Go to www.joinlhs.com or call 800-722-8041. That's 800-722-8041.
And we're back here to the Vito and Vito show. Here's the website, www.vitoandvito.com. Give us a follow, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Vito and Vito show. Vito, you got stuff to say. Break it down for us. Talking about Ted Cruz and the recent debate and how great he was. That's why I stand on it. I think he's great. I think he's our next president. Period, end of story. Marco Rubio is a rhino.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump is Donald Trump. And the rest of the people just stood there. Actually, I got to give my props up to Rand Paul.
I do like Rand.
Rand did great. I think he did very good. He established that he's completely different from the mainstream neocons out there. And he gave himself something completely different.
I think he took a lot of bullets that were supposed to be for Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
Especially from Marco Rubio.
Yeah, well, Marco Rubio, man, the establishment pick. He's your George H.W. Bush. He's your John McCain. He's your Mitt Romney. That's it. He's Mitt Romney light. He's disgusting. I don't like Marco Rubio, and I hope he loses. I hope he loses. Not just now, but I hope he loses in a primary by a real conservative in Florida. That's where I stand.
The only reason why Ted Cruz won't win.
Oh. Don't be so optimistic.
The only reasons why Ted Cruz won't win.
Go ahead.
This is the reason. Now, you said in 2008 and 2012, the more conservative candidate did not win the primary because there were so many more conservatives compared to moderates.
Okay.
That's how Mitt Romney got it, because all the moderates rallied behind one candidate. And then you see the opposite here for 2016, because Ted Cruz is one of the only conservatives. The closest one to him is arguably Marco Rubio, and he's showing many signs of weakness, especially on immigration.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't mean to interrupt, but I don't think Marco Rubio is fighting for the conservative vote.
He's not.
Right.
But his voting record shows he's one of the most conservative in the Senate.
No.
You know, he's fairly conservative.
Yeah, I know. If you want to look at
the thing is his immigration. One issue.
Let's not forget foreign policy.
Well, we can go talk all day about him.
I want to talk about foreign policy.
Or even Ben Carson on his conservative talking points. But it just leaves Cruz. Because who else do you have? Chloe Fiorina, Rhino, Jeb Bush, hello, Chris Christie, Big Rhino, Marco Rubio, Rhino, and Rand Paul, who is more libertarian, but he's polling almost 2%.
Wait. Did you call Christie Big Rhino? Was that planned?
No. He's just a big rhino physically and politically.
Well, I want to talk about the difference between these candidates.
Ted Cruz is the only conservative. Since Ted Cruz is the only conservative, the conservatives need to rally around right behind him. Yes. Now, he can take care of the rhino like Marco Rubio or anything, but the only reason it's going to come down to him and Trump. And it's either going to be the Republican voters are going to want a politician who's conservative like Ted Cruz, or they're going to be so fed up with politicians, they're going to vote for somebody who's not in politics at all, like Donald Trump.
Donald Trump has the best shot at getting the nomination.
Well, his polls right now are almost 38%. So the closest one to him is Cruz around 15. So that's.
You call that close?
I see. Everything's relative. All right, he's in second place, and behind him is Rubio around 10, 11%. But we saw Ben Carson get close and dropped. Even Rubio was in second, and that's Ted Cruz's turn. Mm-hmm. So you see Trump trying to shoot down Cruz, but how can he shoot somebody down? He can call out their policies and how if they're conservative,
or lie,
or call it like scandals or something in the media, like Ben Carson lying about his youth when he tried to stab his mother or whatever.
Was it his mother?
Whoever he tried to stab. But it's hard to do that because Ted Cruz, as I know, does not have any illegitimate children or anything scandalous. We didn't lie about anything.
Oh, they didn't tell you, did they? Your mama was a freak for Rafael Cruz, but
sick. That's his dad, not him.
Well, the dad had to have something to do with your mom in order to have Ted Cruz. And
great, I'll run for president. Then.
Yeah, it's probably something in the history.
Helps me out.
Yeah.
Or you go after Ted Cruz and his conservative record, which doesn't work because he's the most conservative one out there, by far. So what do? You lie. All Ted Cruz has to do is not say anything stupid and expose these people while they're lying.
Yeah, I see how it is. And the way you could do that is by exposing, like Marco Rubio did, and propagating up a lie. Marco Rubio is a neocon. He's going to fight. I'm talking about foreign policy right now. This is one of the issues. Is that Marco Rubio has no problem labeling Ted Cruz an isolationist. He called him un-American. He doesn't support Israel. He didn't support the military. Like, what a total... You know what I mean? Like, when I listen to somebody like Marco Rubio completely misconstrue the point of where Ted Cruz stands on a lot of these issues. You think Ted Cruz hates the military? Are you kidding me? He's talking, of course, about the National Defense Authorization Act, which, by the way, gives the president the power to kill American citizens who are suspected terrorists on American soil, anywhere else in the world. So, before you go any further, there's a constitutional issue right there.
And the amount of fear-mongering Marco Rubio did.
You had no idea.
Especially when Rand Paul brought this up, too, with the bill. He's saying, they're American citizens, they have due process, and Marco Rubio turns and got a huge applause when he goes, well, if you're a terrorist, we're going to treat you like a terrorist. Great, so that's a bunch of points, and everybody loves Marco Rubio, but you're missing the point. You have to look into the bill. You have to see that you can't just kill American citizens on U.S. soil because they're suspected.
Let's not also forget that the NAA is also filled with nothing but pork. It's filled with a lot of nonsense spending that Ted Cruz calls out on the Senate floor. Rand Paul calls out on the Senate floor. So before we go any further, Ted Cruz did the right thing. And he even says, I told the people of Texas, here's an example of some guy standing up to his campaign promises. I told the people of Texas, I'm not going to vote for a bill that goes against the Constitution. Sure enough, here's a bill that goes directly against the Constitution by giving the president the power just to go kill anybody that he thinks is a terrorist. That is some scary stuff. It's scandalous, and it's something that Marco Rubio is proud to support. So here's Mr. Rubio, Mr. Proud, pro-American, I love America. Oh, it funds the Iron Dome, the NAA, the National Defense Authorization Act. This stuff matters. It's nonsense. He's a tyrant. And he's a little tyrant with bad hair. I never liked his hair, and I really don't like it now. It looks like somebody took a big fat right on top of his head. I'm using the machine here, and it's great. I'm loving it.
I mean, Marco even called out Cruz's tax plan and budget and everything, while he was actually referring to Rand Paul's. So he confused that at one point. We put that on the website, www.vitovito.com.
Nice plug.
Thank you, where we explain all this. Because he was saying, you don't fund the Iron Dome. I was like, well, you keep referring to his plan. It's actually Rand Paul's, which does fund it. So it's hard when you have a debate with 9 people yelling at each other, calling Fury in the back, saying, let me talk, and Kasich yelling about his kids and stuff. And Ted Cruz trying to point out why he's lying. Because if Marco Rubio just says, no, he lied, he doesn't want to support this, and everyone starts yelling, well, you don't give Ted Cruz a chance to answer and explain how that's not true, how Marco's actually lying. And it becomes a back and forth, he said, she said, finger pointing, That's why you have to follow up with these candidates after, like when they go on Hannity or these other shows, interviews after the debate and their website.
And you know what bothered Ted Cruz the most is that I think he wasn't as articulate as he normally is. As much as I love Ted Cruz, he does a lot of BS. He does talk a lot about making America wonderful, and that's fine. But when it comes down to the substance of the issues, Marco Rubio, I got to give Marco Rubio credit. He came prepared. He was savvy enough to come and know what he was doing. So that's the difference with Marco Rubio. And I mean, it's some interesting stuff to hear about. Marco Rubio's a fraud. I can't stand him. I really can't. Ted Cruz, though, I mean, we got to clear up the air. Immigration and foreign policy, two completely different things. Two completely different things that were being leveled against Ted Cruz by Marco Rubio and the establishment. And that was the main thing for me. Everybody else, Trump, Carson, all of that was a nonchalant factor. It was Rubio going after Cruz.
Vito?
And Rand Paul was great. Go ahead.
Before your blood pressure goes any higher, how about we do the grade book? Let's
do the grade book. I like doing this grade book thing.
This is easy. I put everything to the teleprompter for you, so you don't have to get all flustered with your
Right
words.
on. Let me get my tan suit. Hold on.
Right. Well, you're funny.
You like that?
First, let's go over the polls.
Do you like that? Tell me you love me.
Unbelievable.
We had these sound effects. I love using them. What do you got?
Great. Let's go over the polls real quick. How about this? Let everyone know where everyone stands.
Okay. Right? Whatever you want to do.
Because
I'm at your mercy.
Right. Because many people are saying, for example, we'll get into this, that Rand Paul lost the debate, and we disagree with this. I think he did pretty well.
Who said he lost the debate?
I think CNN was saying this, Huffington Post, all the mainstream beautiful reporters, but we disagree with them. Let's just go with this. Donald Trump is at first place forever.
The Teflon Don, nothing sticks there.
38% he's still up there. Second place, with a very close 14.1%, is Ted Cruz. Marco Rubio is right behind him at 11. Then you got Ben Carson at 9.7, 10%. Then below him is everybody who should not be on the stage at all, like Jeb Bush, Chris Christie, Carl Fiorina, Mike Huckabee, Rand Paul, John Kasich, Lindsey Graham, George Pataki, Rick Santorum, and at the beautiful 0.0%, Jim Gilmore. I guess he's still running?
Who's that?
Jim Gilmore?
I don't know who that is.
My mother's still in the race. Don't you worry.
I gotta give Mike Huckabee, I just gotta give him a big WT. Because if you're Mike Huckabee, what the hell are you talking about instituting the draft?
What?
Yeah, he was.
That was on a kiddie table debate.
The kiddie table debate, indeed. That's what he is, a big kid.
But he is pretty funny, though. He is funny. He has some jokes. He tweets things out. He's funny.
He's funny.
I think he said he wouldn't trust Hillary Clinton like he wouldn't trust a North Korean chef with his dog.
It's funny.
He has those kind of jokes on Twitter, which probably the liberals will attack him, but he's only polling at 2.4%.
The draft. Unbelievable.
So you bring back the draft, let kids buy their freedom.
Yeah, I mean, that's absurd. Some ridiculousness coming out of the Mike Huckabee camp.
And
you don't buy your freedom. You're born with freedom, you fool.
You have to fight for freedom.
What?
You have to fight for your freedom.
You fight for freedom, but you're born with
freedom is only one generation away from being gone.
I mean, from extinction.
Being gone.
From extinction.
That's being gone.
You gotta get the quote right. Ronald Reagan would be so pissed off right now with you.
Well, whatever.
Yeah, nice, yeah. How about we get to the grade book so we stop making fools of ourselves?
Sure.
You in particular, messing up Ronald Reagan quotes.
Oh, give me a break.
I can't give you nothing, Gipper. What do you got?
Ted Cruz, Vito, what do you give him?
Oh, I give him an A.
So do I.
Give him an A. They did great. He did, and not because I want him for president or whatever. I thought he came across very well. But aside from the little fact that he could have been a little bit more articulate, I think he showed that he is the third-way candidate between isolationist, interventionist, and Ted Cruz's way. Completely different. I love him a lot.
I think Rand Paul agrees a lot with him on the foreign policy.
And Rand Paul's no isolationist. I don't know why people keep saying that. But at the same time, Rand Paul, Ted Cruz, two completely different sides of the spectrum. Two completely different sides. But at the same time, they also have a lot of similarities. So, Ted Cruz making his own way. Very good, very proud. Love Ted Cruz.
Mm-hmm.
Give him an A.
And we're grading this on the debate performances, not their policies. And we're trying to be as objective as possible because as much as we love Ted Cruz on the show, other debates in the beginning of the year, Ted Cruz did not get A's. He did not do great at the debate, so we've improved that.
Yeah, so okay. Who's next?
Rand Paul.
First of all, your chair is so squeaky.
You know,
anyone listen? I don't know if you're farting or if you're just spinning.
farting. Actually, you gave me this chair.
I didn't give you that chair.
Yeah, I asked for it for Christmas. Like, Vito, can I not sit on the floor and do the show anymore? And he said, fine, here, take a chair.
I don't want you to be on the show, period.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
I give you an F. What do you...
Rand Paul, Vito, what do you give him?
Oh, I give Rand Paul an A-. I thought he did very well. I thought he did very, very, very well. And I see Vito was a little upset because on our website, where we just released an article, I happened to contradict myself. What did the other Vitos say?
Unbelievable.
What did he say?
You gave him an A.
I gave him an A?
Yeah.
I give him an A- now.
Unbelievable.
I'm talking about it. I'm starting to change.
You want me to write this down for you?
No, that's all right. You can keep it.
Unbelievable. Fine. I gave him an A. Okay? 'Cause I think...
I didn't give him an A.
On the website you did. So when people are reading this, you know, Rand Paul, he's just a great debater. He's a master debater.
Master debater.
Marco Rubio, Vito.
I give, in terms of performance, I give Marco Rubio, I think he did very well in terms of performance, A-.
Good.
That's what I'll give in terms of performance. However, in terms of substance, he's a big ass.
We get it.
Give him an F.
Okay, he's the establishment favorite. We get this. But, you know, he did catch, I think he showed up Donald Trump, because we could talk about this with Trump, too, and they're talking about the nuclear triad. Remember this?
Triad.
Jesus. What?
Triad?
Oh, don't make fun of my accent.
Oh, accent.
Unbelievable. Anyway, Marco Rubio called him out and they're explaining everything, because Donald Trump completely avoided the question like he had no idea what he was talking about. And Marco Rubio just went in, and, you know, he just showed him up.
Well,
that's what you gotta do. Marco Rubio was on fire.
Trump didn't really seem to know what the nuclear triad was.
He doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
It's where is the best way to fire nuclear weapons, and there's, you know, it's a very complex issue. Marco Rubio doesn't really answer the question neither. However, he starts his whole point. He starts his whole point explaining what it was.
And then he would said, "Do you have any priorities?" And he went into how the submarines will be one of the priorities.
Yeah, he said all of them are important for natural deterrence.
Well, of course to them.
The point is,
they're nuclear weapons.
The point is, he knew what that was. Trump didn't. Not very good. Not good.
Because
Trump's like, you're talking about nuclear. We got a problem. It's some serious stuff. And I'm like, wait a second. I hope he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, because they asked him we were prioritizing. He goes, nuclear is dangerous. It's like, thank you, Donald.
You know what? I'm not going to fault Donald Trump on that because I think that's something you can learn when you get in the White House.
Oh, yeah. Right there.
On the job training.
Welcome, Mr. President. Let me teach you about nuclear weapons and how you can blow up the world. I think nothing you should know. Unbelievable. I don't fault him. I don't fault him for not knowing the White House's breakfast menu. Okay? You should know about the nuclear plans and everything Marco Rubio does.
Marco Rubio's also in the Senate.
Oh, and Donald Trump's running for president. Maybe we should read up on something. It's not like he's doing anything else.
Oh, no, he's just running for president.
Yeah.
Let's not forget about the $1 billion company he's got.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And he did do Saturday Night Live, which I thought was pretty funny. For the record, as much as I like to criticize Donald Trump, I also love him too. So it's a love-hate relationship with Donald.
It's like, I like you, guy, but you don't have to be president. All right?
Leave Ted for the job. What do you got, Vito? Who's next?
Chris Christie.
Oh.
Chris Christie, what do you think?
I thought he did a pretty good performance. I'll give him maybe like a B-.
Right. Well, on the grade book, you give him B, and I'll give him a C-.
I in terms of saying.
Yeah, back on the
what I never got about Chris Christie, he's like, I'm a governor and I know about national security. No, you're a governor of a state of New Jersey. Atlantic City's collapsed under your watch. New Jersey is running deficit after deficit. You're constantly being downgraded in terms of bond ratings in New Jersey. And you have restricted gun rights tenfold. Yet you seem to claim that you are the man that knows about foreign policy. I mean, this guy is just... what a schmuck, Vito.
You know what else he is? He's a
he?
Federal prosecutor.
Oh, yeah, wow.
For years, dedicated his time after 9/11. And and I like how he looks into the camera and says he wants to speak to the average guy at home, the average construction worker. That guy's sitting at home at Dunkin' Donuts.
That guy's sitting at home at Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah,
so a homeless man in Dunkin' Donuts.
There you go. He doesn't make sense. That's the point. He just gets annoying.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Christie.
No, he gets annoying.
I like the brashness. I get a kick out of that, but at the same time, Christie,
It's the New Jersey kind of thing.
Yeah, but if he was
almost New York, but it's not. So I don't really like it.
If he was more conservative, I think I'd love him. He's not. Not a fan of Christie. He's a rhino. But before we go any further, we got a break coming up. We're going to break down the rest of these great books. Plus, forget about our moments of the week. Vito, yes, I know. Let's not forget. Twitter fan. When we return here to Vito and Vito.
Fighting the Common Core standards? Need a powerful tool to help inform others on this harmful education initiative? You're covered with Common Ground on Common Core, the collection of essays by 20 top education experts and activists. Reviewers call it the best single resource on the topic. You can share it with literally anyone. Order your print or digital copy of Common Ground on Common Core today. Just visit resoundingbooks.org. That's resoundingbooks.org. And get $2 off when you tell them Vito and Vito sent you. Paid for by Resounding Books Pack.
So what is behind enemy lines anyway?
This is the true story of two friends living in the People's Republic of New York City who work together and have their conversations taped to find out what happens when conservatives stop being politically correct and start getting real. We are Behind Enemy Lines. Watch your wallets. Thursdays at 1 on WNJC, part of the Conservative Commandos Radio Network.
Vito and Vito show.
Can you act a little more professional?
No, we're not professional.
Yeah, we are.
No, we're not. Listen, we got a beep button.
We know this. We know.
What's your problem?
Who made you producer?
Huh?
Who gave you the tech
I'm not
stuff?
producer. Who said I was producer?
Where's our producer?
We don't have one.
Okay,
we got a ghost in the other room doing this stuff. Oh, cheer up, Charlie. What's the matter? Right. Come on. We're going to that college party next week, aren't we? Right? The frat party?
I dropped out. I have finals this week. I'm ready to kill myself.
Yeah, I know. I have finals too. Just finishing up, and it's making me go crazy.
I have to take a biology final.
Biology?
Yeah, biology.
A radio show, political radio show. What the hell are you dissecting?
I'm a business and political science major.
Oh, well, who the hell would want to do business with you? Honestly, I don't want to.
Donald Trump. I want to talk to him. Why do I have to take biology?
I don't
Why?
know. That's not. It's again.
These are the common core. These are the core classes.
In
Everybody
college?
needs biology.
You have common core in college?
Not common. No, core classes. You got to take one reading class and this and that, and one history class. We learned about Christopher Columbus this semester.
Oh.
I'm breaking down dynamics of who's going to be the damn president this year. I have to learn about Christopher Columbus and
Nina,
biology.
the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. Right?
Yeah, very good, Vito.
I'm a scholar, I tell you.
All right, so who do you give Jeb Bush? We're just gonna move on.
Who do I give
Jeb
Bush?
Segue.
Who do I give him?
What do you give him?
I'd give him whatever he wants. A B. Right. Give him a B. I think Jeb did pretty good. He got an exchange with Donald Trump. He went back and forth, and it was pretty entertaining. But it was challenging, and I got to give Jeb Bush the credit there.
He finally spoke up.
Yeah, he spoke up a little bit. He gave himself a little bit more energy.
Ever ready.
But then it was the best when Trump turns around to Jeb Bush and says, "I'm polling at 41, you're polling at 3. That's it." And the conversation.
You started off next to me. You're almost off the stage now.
And he's like, "All right, I see you brought your energy tonight, Jeb, didn't you?" He's like a little schoolyard bully, but I love watching the schoolyard bully operate because it's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's like Don Rickles all over again. I give him a B. What do you got?
I give him a C.
Why?
Because usually I fail him. This time he passed. That's it. Those little exchanges.
In the beginning of the segment, you specifically said this is all about, on debate performance.
Yes, because usually he fails. Usually just terrible. It's just like you're just reading the script, and you're like, I'm different than my brother. This and that. And now he spoke up a little bit. Proud of him.
Yeah, whatever. He's still a fool.
What do you give Dr. Ben Carson?
Dr. Ben Carson, he didn't stand out too much to me. I give him like a B- or something. I mean, to me, it wasn't like Ben Carson stood out like he was a superstar, and he didn't make any mistakes. He was pretty much quiet for the night. But I give him props when it comes down to the moment of silence in the beginning of his introduction. True. So that goes to Ben, and the media made fun of him, and the left made fun of him. Yeah. But I give him props for that.
Well, you gave him a B on the website.
Whatever.
And I'll give him a C. If you notice, he refused to take a side when they're talking about the NSA. They're talking about that with Cruz and everything. So he wasn't there. He was too quiet, like he usually is. Donald Trump, Vito.
I'll give the Donald a B. B minus? C?
No. Yeah.
I gave him a C?
Yes, you did.
I did?
Yep.
I moved it to a B. I thought that Donald did good. I think he did all right.
Edit this?
But I think he messed up when it came down to the nuclear issue.
Nuclear.
Nuclear laser. I think a little lost in powers there. But I gotta say, when it comes to Donald Trump, he's still giving it his all. I think he explained the Muslim position pretty well. Donald Trump, giving him a B. I'll move him up.
Great. I'm giving him a C+.
But there was no big moment for
No, this is why he dropped, because this wins worst debates. Not saying that he's that bad, but I give him a C+. Also about banning parts of the internet.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Change that back to a C. Thank you.
Great. We're keeping this as C.
Change that back to a C. Right, he wants to ban parts of the internet. That's a C. That's a big C. That's some crazy work right there.
I mean, do you know the internet is home of porn? You can't ban these things. I stand with Rand. Okay? He called him out on that. Carly Fiorina. I give her a D-.
Yeah, me too. I give her a D-. Don't like Carly.
No, she says the same thing. She plays the women card.
Yeah.
I'm a former CEO.
Let
me talk. I am woman. Hear me roar.
I'll give her credit when it comes down to talking about technology.
Mm-hmm.
So props to her about that. She obviously has experience. She brought that into the arena. And
your buddy, old pal, John Kasich.
Oh, I'll give him an F. Was he there? Didn't realize that.
I think he was all the way at the end yelling. Remember, his daughter said, "Daddy, why does everybody in politics yell?" I'll tell you, honey. Okay, your daughter didn't say that. Your daughter probably didn't give a damn about you.
Jesus.
Okay, F, fail, get out of my class. John Casey, give me a break, Vito.
Unbelievable. Listen, we have an interview right now with Dale Bellis. Vito just hurt himself.
I hate John Casey. I saved Ohio. Look at my nuclear programs.
If we had a camera. We have an interview with Executive Director Dale Bellis over at Liberty Health Share. I want you guys to listen to this wonderful interview right now and just to hear about this alternative to Obamacare. Listen to this. You're going to love it. It's amazing. This is the stuff that makes America, America. Listen to this innovative topic coming up. Vito and Vito here with Dale Bellis, Executive Director from Liberty Health Share. And man, Vito, you're going to love this company. You're going to love this stuff right now. This is the alternative to Obamacare, and you got to listen to what this is all about. Dale, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Vito. It's a delight to be with you.
Oh, it's great to be with you. Dale, please explain to us what Liberty Health Share is.
It is a nationwide association on a nonprofit basis of people across America who have united together on the single purpose of sharing each other's medical expenses. We're not insurance. In fact, we share each other's costs on a regular monthly basis without the aid of an insurance company or the government. It's just a regular systematic way of meeting healthcare costs.
Well, how does that exactly work? I mean, normally an insurance company, you pay a premium and everything works out fine. And then you get your healthcare treatment by selecting your plan. So what's different about Liberty Health Share? Do you just get any procedure done and the cost is shared across the board, or do you pick a type of plan? Explain that.
Exactly. We agree among ourselves because we represent freedom from health insurance. We agree among ourselves as to the kinds of bills we'll share in, and that's anything having to do with a hospital stay or a doctor visit or an emergency expense. Anything having to do with medical costs, and you set aside each month in your own secure online account, we call it our share box, your monthly share amount. It's a predetermined amount, $199 for a single, $299 for a couple, $449 for a family. That amount is then matched to another member who has expenses that month. It goes to their online account, and we ask a sufficient number of singles, couples, families to send their money to that receiving member, and then we pay the doctors, the hospitals, all the providers out of that account. Just based upon our online technology and the system, it simply matches person to person, member to member.
That's pretty cool. It's definitely innovative, and it's the epitome of what Liberty is about, innovation. But just a quick question, Dale. Maybe you could help our listeners figure this one out. What happens if there is nobody to match somebody else up with? I mean, what normally takes place there?
Well, if your share amount is not needed that month, it just simply stays in your account it accumulates to the next month until it is needed. That's somewhat rare that no one in a particular month would have any medical expenses. But from month to month, your amount is then matched to another as it's needed, and if it's not, it just accumulates to the next month.
Oh, well, that is actually a really good idea. I never thought of something. I was always saying to myself, how would this work? Normally you're faced with two issues when it comes down to healthcare: get an insurance plan or pay out of pocket. But now you have this sort of third way thing going on here with Liberty Health Share. I mean, it's really innovative, it's really cool, and it's something that I think a lot of young people could get on. I mean, have you had a lot of young participants get involved in something like this?
In fact, that's the vast majority of our membership.
Wow.
Are young folks. In fact, for those under 30, the share amount is $50 less. So instead of $199, it's $149. $299 is $249. And so if you're under 30, it's $50 less.
You see, that's what I'm talking about, Dale, because we're pretty young and we could use a discount. So
exactly.
That's pretty cool. But now, before we go, I just want to ask a quick question on the healthcare climate, because you're going to come on every month. You're going to talk to us about healthcare issues, because I mean, me and Vito can't sit and read Obamacare. We got too much stuff to do, and we don't know these many big words. So we need someone like Dale to help us out. Dale, help us out here. Explain to us, how is this the alternative to Obamacare? How do you get around the regulations, or can you get around the regulations imposed on you by big government?
Into the Affordable Care Act, thankfully, is an exemption for healthcare sharing. It's called a healthcare sharing ministry, and we do not impose on someone's individual faith choices, whether they go to church, or we don't have them sign off on a doctrinal statement. We just simply have a set of shared beliefs that's common to most Americans. You can check it out on the website. But it's called a healthcare sharing ministry, and members of our ministry are exempt from the Affordable Care Act, both its mandates and its fines. So if you're a healthcare sharing organization member, you don't have to worry about fines from the Affordable Care Act. It fulfills the individual mandate.
Oh, well, that's what I'm talking about. Finding a way to get through big government and doing it on your own. Dale Bellis from Liberty Health Share, Executive Director. Where could we find more about Liberty Health Share? Because I'm thinking about buying myself a piece of this.
Yeah, Vito, the best place is to go to Join LHS for Liberty Health Share, joinlhs.com. Simply give us your name, your phone number, your email address. We'll send you free an entire packet of information. We call it our decision guide. It gives you all the information you need to know about Liberty Health Share. As you pointed out, Vito, it's a shift. It's a paradigm shift. It's a mindset change about the way to meet medical bills. So we want people to get all their questions answered. Call one of our trusted advisors if they wish, and pursue it, see if it applies and meets their needs. And we welcome people of like mind to come and join us.
That's awesome. Dale Bellis, we'll see you every month to talk about these healthcare issues. It's going to be great. From Liberty Health Share, the Executive Director. Head on over there right now and find some stuff out about this alternative to the Obamacare fiasco we got in office and those greedy insurance companies. The man right here is Dale Bellis. Dale, thanks for coming on the program. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Vito. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks, Dale. And that was an interview with Dale Bellis over at Liberty Health Share. Vito, what'd you think?
The new alternative to Obamacare.
I'm loving it.
It's great.
Loving it. And I love how it uses Obamacare against itself. I love it. Vito, it's that time of the week again. That's again. Forget about it, moments of the week.
Forget about it. Forget about it.
Forget about it. Paul, forget about it.
That's right. Forget about it, moments of the week. We are very short on time, so Vito, you're gonna spew them out like a $2 hooker.
Time.
Here you go.
Oh my God.
What do you got?
$2 hookers. Disneyland, SeaWorld, and Universal Studios are now using metal detectors and banning toy guns and costumes. You can't wear your costumes to Universal Studios anymore, Vito.
That's stupid. Why?
Why? Because terrorists, Vito.
That's BS.
Right?
Come on.
Fear-mongering. Therefore, right? Your good old pal, Michael Moore, decided to go take a trip to Trump Towers and held a sign that says, "We are all Muslims." Fun fact, we're not all Muslims.
What a dumbass. He's got a new movie coming out, by the way. Can't wait to watch it. But if I do, I get angry. I tried watching Capitalism, A Love Story, and I had to walk out of the class. They showed it in class in high school, and I went crazy.